using an electronic cigarette to produce a nicotine-rich vapor instead of burning tobacco. But are they bad for you? In the last 2 years alone, the number of people using them has trebled to over 2 million.
Absolutely. I am full name Billy Schellenbarger II, otherwise known as Mr. Shell, Northville High School assistant principal.
I don't know if you're allowed to answer this one or not, but can you tell us roughly how many kids have gotten caught with vapes this year?
How many kids? I can answer that. I don't know the number, but I mean, I certainly have a drawer with more vapes in it than I want to have. Yeah, when it's all said and done, I don't know, we'll probably have somewhere between 30 and 50 vape suspensions would be my guess. You know, on average, and I would say that would be, I think, a fair number to an estimate for any school our size and like ours. So I would say that's probably a fair number, more than we want.
Hey, can you help us film English projects? It just requires one question. Yeah. So can you state your name and your age?
My name is Nick Moinkle, I'm 18.
I'm Harrison Foster, I'm 18 years old.
Lily Arts, Anna 18.
Hannah Lauren, 16.
And why do you think kids vape in school?
I mean, nicotine's a drug, so it's pretty addictive, and
To get their nicotine fix.
Because, well, a lot of the time they're addicted to nicotine, and I think sometimes they feel like they're cool, so.
Because other kids in school do it, so I think it's cool.
And do you think there's a reason why kids vape in school?
A reason why kids vape in school.
Like, why do you think kids vape in school?
Why do I think? Part of it, in my opinion, is I think that there's a level of, and I could be wrong, a level of cool factor for some reason. I think if you were to go back to 1993 when I graduated from high school, it seems, it was 25 years ago. Vapes obviously didn't exist, and if you wanted to smoke something similar, well, the closest thing would be a cigarette. And kids did it, but not nearly the number of kids that use vapes. So there's a accessibility, it's easier to get them, but I just think for some reason somebody created this image of a vape being cool, and it's not obviously not true, because there are negative aspects to the nicotine-based vape juice, which most of it is, and we know those concerns. The cool factor certainly plays in. And the other piece too is it's easy to do. It's hard to detect. To compare apples to apples, which is the closest thing we have, is a cigarette. We never had as many students, when cigarettes were more popular, smoking a cigarette in the bathroom as we do, students making a poor decision to smoke a vape.
Please state your name and what you do at Northville High School.
My name is Daryl Adkins, and I'm a hall monitor for security.
Okay. Do you think there is a reason why kids vape in school?
I don't think there's a particular reason, but I think that kids need to concentrate more on their studies and not so much on other things that take them away from that.
Okay, and do you think vaping is an issue at Northville High School?
I think vaping is an issue at many high schools, including Northville. We have administratively a lot of opportunity to speak with other administrators at schools that are similar to ours, whether it's Birmingham or Grosse Pointe or Grand Rapids, larger schools, affluent schools like ours, and similar concerns, similar issues. Yeah, it's a concern, one that we're doing our best to get our arms around and continue to be proactive with, but certainly it's an issue that it's top of mind, unfortunately more than we want it to.
Do you think that vaping is an issue at Northville High School?
I think anything that distracts students from learning in the classroom is a problem, and unfortunately it's not completely not present here at Northville High School.
Do you believe vaping negatively affects schoolwork?
If I am using drugs, it's going to impact how I study. If I'm using nicotine, in my opinion, it's going to impact different levels of my health, which may impact how I study and how I operate in school. So anything that takes away from the best health that I can have or a student can have, in my opinion, it's going to impact a lot of things, and studying is one of those things that you guys do a lot of. Some more than others, some study more than others, but I think it would, in my opinion.
The first thing to understand is that smoking and vaping are very different. Smoking burns tobacco to release a large dose of addictive nicotine very quickly. But nicotine's not the major problem. Alongside it comes a cocktail of around 4,000 toxic chemicals, increasing the risk of cancer, heart disease, and other serious illnesses. Electronic cigarettes heat up a cartridge of liquid to form a vapor, which can be inhaled instead of smoke. This vapor contains a nicotine hit, along with flavorings and other chemicals.
What is the punishment for vaping on school grounds?
You get suspended out of school for a few days. It's not just about, it's not robotic. It's not you're caught with a vape, you're suspended out of school. Punitive, meaning discipline. And there has to be a level of education and restorative to it. So when I sit in my office and 17-year-old, 16-year-old kids don't want to hear it a lot, I'm obviously going to have some conversation around the health concerns and educate them about the dangers of it. On the flip side, we partner with Northville Youth Assistance, which is a large social work counseling group that, as part of the suspension, we reduce the suspension by a few days, cut it in half, if a student participates in the Northville Youth Assistance counseling program, which educates on the dangers of drugs, alcohol, tobacco, nicotine, vapes. So there's got to be some education to it. It's not back in 1993 when I was in high school, it was about, a lot of the hammer, dropping the hammer, and the assistant principal was the, person who dropped the hammer and the discipline guy. And that ship has sailed. I'm not here to beat a kid up over a bad decision that day. It has to be my job to help educate them and restore something and give them a little something back, so maybe next time they go to make that not so great decision, they rethink it